What if Darth Vader mastered all dark side force abilities? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Vader stumbles from the Emperor's residence, feeling every muscle in his body burning from their training. True to his word, the Emperor had agreed to take Vader on as his apprentice and show him the ways of the dark side. Yet his training is nothing like the Dark Lord expected. It is less of him learning how to harness the dark energies of the world than Palpatine simply enjoying tormenting him. In Vader's battered body, his connection is greatly weakened, and the Emperor is happy to leave it that way. He shows him enough to let Vader serve as his enforcer and crush his foes, but nothing beyond that. It is clear that Palpatine intends to hold on to power, and that means keeping Vader weak. The training is meant to sharpen the few lessons Palpatine gives, and a chance for the Emperor to trounce him, a constant reminder of who has the true power. Vader leaves the residence in a fury. His thoughts are a storm of emotions, promising retribution and vowing to make the Emperor pay. But to achieve that, he must look elsewhere. He has yet to learn any powerful dark side abilities, and he doubts he ever will under him. But Vader is already starting to formulate a plan to access this knowledge. He was not Palpatine's only apprentice, and he knows that Dooku and Maul were powerful individuals who accessed powers even beyond his. While Vader continues his role as the Emperor's enforcer, he secretly sends his spies to begin gathering information and notes from Dooku and Maul, anything they left behind that might teach him how to harness the dark side. He journeys to the former CIS stronghold of Sereno and ransacks the place for anything of value and finds the Count's notes. These date back to his final days in the Jedi Order, when he begins to experiment with the dark side and how it feels. Anakin consumes these notes eagerly, studying everything they have to offer. Unlike Palpatine, Dooku is also trained as a Jedi Master, and has experience in the Force even the Emperor lacks. His notes reveal his process of using the Jedi's discipline and training and harnessing it into the dark side to maximize its effect. He spends hours meditating, not trying to find balance in the Force, but brooding and allowing his emotions to flow through him. Memories, good, bad, and everything in between, rush over his mind. This also allows him to see the potential in the Force and experiment with different abilities. It details how he channeled Force lightning by observing Master Plo with Force judgment, and how to break minds while observing Mace use Jedi mind tricks to interrogate prisoners. Anakin begins to copy these ideas, but struggles to make much progress. Due to his cybernetic limbs, his abilities to draw on the Force are severely limited, and progress is slow, even slower than Palpatine's training. While he learns some new abilities, it is a difficult process as Vader becomes painfully aware of his limitations. He hopes that Maul's notes might prove more useful, but is disappointed. Unlike the cultured Count, Maul was a force of nature who seemed less interested in keeping notes. His men produce few documents from Mandalore of his former Shadow Collective strongholds. It seems that if he did unlock new powers, Maul was less inclined to share them. But one person offers answers, a fellow Imperial officer, Morgan Elsbeth. Her spies learn of Vader's quest, and she offers her assistance.
I've heard of your quest to learn of the dark side. It is a challenge to master this side of the Force. I hear you are searching for the knowledge of Darth Maul.
I am. And if you know it, you would be wise to provide it to me.
Indeed, I do. Such knowledge is not easily obtained. And with all due respect, you have been searching in the wrong places. You searched Mandalore, where he met his fall, and on Mustafar, where he built his empire. But his knowledge is hidden somewhere older, on Dathomir.
And yet my scouts there have returned with nothing.
There are no Dathomirians like me, Lord Vader. I know that land well. I know of my sister's secrets. I can take you there, for the right price.
Very well. If you accomplish this, and do so quietly, I shall see that you are rewarded.
Nodding, Morgan charters a ship that will take them to Dathomir undetected from the small Imperial garrison stationed there. When they arrive, Vader is greeted by the sickly green air and the blood-red sky which looms above, bathing the entire jungle in an unnatural light. But now the planet seems even more chilling than before, thanks to Dooku's destruction of the Night Sisters. Bloated corpses and wrecked droids lay everywhere. Tanks and destroyed fighters are left, looking like the skeletons of giants. They ignore all of this as they make their way toward the old Night Sister fortress. Morgan Elsbeth leads the way, dodging patrols and making those few unlucky enough to see them disappear. When they at last reach the Citadel, Vader pauses, feeling a familiar presence here. He grips his lightsaber tightly before making his way inside. Though the rest of the jungle looks like a ruin, this fortress is closer to a hovel, with artifacts scattered everywhere and a dim fire burning, meaning that something still lives here. From the corner of Vader's eye, he sees something moving and ignites his lightsaber just as something lunges from the darkness. A lightsaber flashes and Vader parries it, pushing it aside, and turns to face the tattooed warrior in front of him. Darth Maul smiles as he twists his lightsaber.
So your little hunt for the Sith has finally brought you here, Vader.
My work is no concern to you, Maul.
Oh, I think it is. You seek knowledge. Knowledge that I can provide you.
I can pry it from your corpse.
He lunges and sweeps his lightsaber into the darkness, but Maul leaps from this attack and spins towards him, his lightsaber flashing in the darkness like a blinding flash. Despite this, Vader manages to block each strike and glares at the Night Brother. He pushes one blow aside and brings his lightsaber down, though Maul manages to avoid it and kicks him back. When he tries to stab his staff towards him, Vader pushes it aside and throws him back with the Force.
We can do this forever, Maul. Or you can let me take what I want and save yourself the humiliation.
On the contrary, I think it is you who might need saving. I take it you've started to realize how much Palpatine truly values you. If you wish to overthrow him, then you will need whatever I have to offer.
And what is that?
Knowledge. Knowledge beyond your understanding. The ability to learn powers even the Emperor doesn't truly understand. But no, not me. However, there is one who can help. Mother Talzin.
Mother Talzin is dead. Do you take me for a fool?
I do. And this shows just how much you truly understand about the dark side. A master and its powers cannot truly stay dead. So, do we have a deal?
Night falls like a shroud over Dathomir as the jungle trembles under the sound of approaching destruction. Morgan Elsbeth leads Vader through hidden paths, bypassing sentries and probe droids of the Imperial garrison. Maul's terms were clear. In exchange for their aid, the Imperial garrison must go, and their command offered to Maul. It should be no challenge destroying the garrison, but Vader hesitates. To do this would be crossing a line to treason, and yet the Sith apprentice reminds himself that Palpatine was happy to do the same thing when it benefited him. As he approaches the Imperial outpost, Vader readies himself. He advances and ignites his lightsaber. There is no subtlety. As the stormtroopers gather to look at him in surprise, Vader uses the Force to pull them from the outpost walls, throwing them to their deaths as he slashes the doors open. Stormtroopers gather in the main courtyard to confront him, nervously raising their weapons as they order Vader to halt. But it is pointless. His lightsaber flashes around as he cuts through these men with ease, mercilessly slaughtering them. Morgan disables the alarms and folds into the shadows, picking off officers with poisoned blades. This throws them into chaos as most men have no idea what is happening, and Morgan only adds to the confusion by sending false instructions. The garrison crumbles within minutes. From the flames, the Inquisitor emerges. Third Sister, blade spinning defensively. She tries to fight. She never has a chance. As she leaps at Vader, throwing quick slashes, the Dark Lord dodges each one and bats aside her attacks contemptuously. She tries to bring her weapon down in a downward slash, but Vader catches it with the Force and pushes it aside before grabbing her by the neck and slamming her against the wall. She glares at him defiantly, but Vader squeezes until she passes out. Her saber drops with a hiss. Morgan binds her with chains etched in Night Sister runes. As the outpost burns, Morgan deletes all information regarding what happened here as they drag the Inquisitor back to the fortress. When they arrive, Maul is finishing preparing the ritual, drawing ancient symbols in ash and blood around the Inquisitor's unconscious body. Vader stands still, watching. Morgan chants softly under her breath, old words from a forgotten tongue. Maul begins the incantation. The jungle grows still. The air grows cold. The fire roars unnaturally high, and then snuffs out. A sickly green mist rises from the Inquisitor's body. Her eyes shoot open, glowing with an unnatural light. She levitates briefly above the ground, her limbs twitching unnaturally. A voice speaks, layered and echoing with power.
Who dares summon me from beyond?
Your son, Mother, and a disciple who seeks what only you can teach.
Talzin's gaze falls upon Vader. The Inquisitor's body straightens as she fully possesses it, her voice now steady, laced with 1,000 secrets.
An apprentice of Palpatine, left to rot in metal and silence. I see now. You seek more. You hunger.
I seek power. All of it.
Then I shall teach you. Not just the dark side, but the old magic. That which Palpatine fears.
She extends her hand, her fingers gnarled, twitching with green energy.
Kneel, Darth Vader, and rise anew.
Weeks pass on Dathomir, but Vader hardly feels it as he spends every moment in training. He devotes everything, mind and body. Talzin has him sitting in the ancient chambers beneath their fortress. Here, they are left surrounded with ancient runes, still pulsing with lingering power. Talzin carves these same symbols in his armor, letting him channel the Ichor, and magics flow through his suit too. It surges through him just as blood used to flow through him. The power is so strong that it is nearly overwhelming, but Vader manages to steady himself as he gains control of it. With access to this power, Talzin puts Vader to work, harnessing his new abilities. She starts by taking him to the swamps, where black ichor flows strongly. Talzin teaches Anakin to harness its power, letting it flow through him. It heightens his rage, sharpens his senses, and lets him unleash all manner of spells, amplifying his force abilities. And Dooku's notes prove essential here, letting him learn of different force abilities that had been forgotten or never taught to him. The Force Shriek, Force Draining, and even fire attacks. Talzin, though no Sith, learns to harness these powers through magic and the Force, showing Vader how to channel them in turn. Morgan continues to gather more documents, using her vast resources to secure information and provide Vader with a constant stream of knowledge. But it is Maul who puts that knowledge into action, training him to harness them in combat. He spars with the Dark Lord every day, forcing him to learn how to apply it in combat. The Night Brother is a relentless foe, hitting him hard and fighting with a savagery Vader rarely sees. And with Morgan, she helps him pore through the ancient Sith knowledge, records left by Darth Bane, Revan, Exar Kun, and the other Sith Lords, teaching their philosophies and training practices.
Power without control is chaos, but control without purpose is stagnation. Sidious has forgotten this.
I knew Tyrannus. Arrogant, but brilliant. He studied what others feared, just like you. His weakness was that he did not see the snake in the grass until he was bitten.
Meanwhile, Darth Bane teaches the importance of unity. The Sith can only survive if they cooperate, and those who cannot understand that must be destroyed. Lastly, Revan speaks of power without excessive cruelty. Foes deserve to be served to death and pain, but these powers must be handled responsibly, lest the galaxy turn against the Sith. Yet, as the power grows, Vader knows he cannot simply remain there. Palpatine will grow suspicious of his actions and believe he is plotting against him, so he returns to the Empire, carrying this knowledge with him. Palpatine begins to suspect Vader's deception and decides to put him to the test and see how far he has come.
You've been difficult to find, Lord Vader.
My duties took me to the Outer Rim. There were matters that required personal attention.
Palpatine narrows his eyes at this response.
Indeed, the force around you, it swirls differently now. Unfamiliar, wild. You carry echoes of something I did not grant.
Vader says nothing. The silence stretches. Palpatine gives Vader a cold, knowing smile.
Ambition can be a powerful tool, but if left unchecked, it festers into treachery.
My loyalty is unchanged, my master.
Palpatine steps off his throne, his tone sharper now.
See that it remains so. I have broken greater men than you.
A beat. Palpatine turns, gazed fixed outward.
Saw Gerrera is entrenched on Jeddah. His insurgents strike at our convoys, radicalize the locals, and worship their shattered moon like it holds meaning. I want them erased.
Then they will be.
not just in body, in spirit. Let Jedi become the whisper children fear when they speak of rebellion. Let Guerrera's screams be the sermon that crushes hope.
He turns slowly to face Vader again.
You have grown bolder. See that it does not make you foolish. There are eyes in every shadow, even yours.
Vader nods, but says nothing. His mind is a fortress.
Go now. Deliver the Emperor's justice.
Vader turns, cloak trailing like black fire. Behind him, Palpatine watches, his fingers twitching faintly, as if already preparing for battle. Vader arrives on Jedha and sees just how far these rebels will go. Entire streets are turned into battlegrounds as these partisans stage ambushes, unleashing battle droids in crowded places to pick off stormtroopers and planting miles of explosives within the city. Rather than play their game and fight them how they want, Vader instead organizes a new strategy. He studies the map and deploys stormtroopers to the areas with the thickest fighting, making it appear that he is reinforcing them while he decides to confront the rebels directly. As plumes of smoke rise from the streets, he hears stormtroopers shout commands, trying to organize their battle lines. He ignores them all and moves to the place he has identified as the suspected rebel headquarters. But when Vader makes his way deeper, explosives activate under his feet. Above him, rebels shout jeers and taunts as they see him consumed by the fire. Yet when the smoke clears, Vader walks through the smoke. The runes in his armor glow as he summoned a magical shield around himself. The rebels all stare in surprise, but Vader is already countering. He unleashes a fork of lightning, striking at the balconies where the partisans are hiding. Men scream as they are thrown back and cooked alive. Those who do manage to return fire find their blaster bolts reflected and directed back towards them. The partisans on the ground look on in shock, watching as their brothers in arms are wiped out on an instant. Some sit frozen in fear, but one man shouts through the din.
Bring me that man's head! If we kill him, we can deal the Empire a blow that it will not recover from!
This shakes his troops from their stupor, and the rebels come charging forward, firing blasters, brandishing knives and spears, or hefting explosives. Vader lets them approach until he sees the whites of their eyes, and then throws his head back in a powerful force shriek. Half the men drop their weapons in an instant, others freeze in place. Vader sweeps his lightsaber and cuts most of them down in a single blow. Those who remain suffer a worse fate, as Vader uses Force Drain to restore his strength. Seeing this, Saw retreats inside, triggering explosives as he goes, but Vader follows at an almost leisurely walk. He contains each explosion with the Force, and then hurls them at the few surviving rebels until only Saw remains. Seeing this, the partisan commander has the entire building brought down on Vader with hidden explosives. The Dark Lord looks up as the ceiling collapses over him. Saw barely manages to make his way out, but then looks back just as the rubble begins to shake, and a fist pushes its way out. Vader climbs out and readies his lightsaber. Saw picks up an electrostaff and rushes at him, letting the electricity crackle as he strikes. But Vader is already moving, absorbing the charge as he yanks the staff and breaks it over his knee.
Get it over with!
He stabs him across the chest, and Saw drops to the ground without another sound. This brings an end to the partisans on Jedha, but this also confirms something Palpatine has feared. Vader is more powerful than he imagined. This means he must get rid of him, or weaken him somehow, and an idea forms in his mind. After the battle, he invites Vader to talk.
You've done well, my apprentice. You have far exceeded my expectations, Lord Vader, and I think that deserves a reward. There are whispers, a tremor in the Force on an ancient world long forgotten. I have studied this place. There are rumors it can summon spirits, including your wife.
Vader doesn't respond. He simply listens, motionless behind the dark mask, but something stirs within him, a longing that he hasn't felt in ages. Though he knows this might be deception, he cannot help but hope.
There is a temple buried beneath the ruins of San Voltor. The Force bends strangely there. It may be your only chance to see her again.
Where?
The shuttle slices through a sickly green atmosphere, lightning coiling through the storm clouds like angry veins. The planet is dead. Its forests stripped, its oceans black and strangely mutated. It is why the Imperial tech insisted on modifying his armor before leaving. adding extra filters to prevent any harmful bacteria from getting inside. But it doesn't keep everything away, and no sooner do his feet touch the ground does it burst open. Waves of rat ghouls spill out of the earth like a flood of flesh. Dozens at first, pale, feral creatures with glowing eyes, some bearing the remnants of Jedi or Sith robes from ancient times. Vader's armor sparks as his corrupted filters begin to affect his breathing, turning the air around him poisonous. He stumbles slightly, but straightens at the first rat ghouls approaching him. His lightsaber springs to life as he carves through the advancing foes. Despite being disoriented, his technique remains flawless, and he cuts through the ranks. But as they fall, more climb over their bodies. One leaps and sinks its fangs into Vader's shoulder. He roars, grabs its head, and crushes it with the Force. Vader lets out another scream and channels Force fire in a sweeping arc, burning through the second wave and scattering the rest. Though the poison gas takes a toll on him, he balances it out by using Force Drain to restore his strength. His fighting quickens, and he hacks through their ranks, channeling fire and lightning before cutting through their ranks until only one remains. This rat ghoul is larger than most, and slams him against the wall, starting to wrap its fingers around his neck. But Vader snatches his lightsaber from the ground and slashes it across his arm. The rat ghoul stumbles back. Vader reaches out, starting to choke it with the Force. The creature thrashes and tries to push back, but Vader clenches his fist, and the creature's body goes limp. Breathing heavily, he limps forward, searching for the temple. The city is massive and is filled with rat ghouls. Vader fights through them, cutting them down on sight, but the poison takes its toll on him. He survives by absorbing the essence of the rat ghouls, yet it is a temporary solution, and once they stop coming, he finds himself exposed. As he approaches the city center, the rat ghouls come rushing at him, preparing to finish him off. But instead, he clenches both fists and cracks the ground. The stone splits open, forming a trench of molten earth that devours the shaman and those near it. Rat ghouls fall into the crevice, burning alive. He pulls his lightsaber back, now limping, leaking coolant and blood, but alive. False visions begin, whispering in Padme's voice, soft laughter echoing through the shadows, flickers of her face in every reflective surface. It calls to him and urges him inside, but as he enters the temple, there is no sanctum, no altar, no presence of Padme, only bones. Vader fell to his knees, breath ragged, the runes on his armor dimming. He can hear Palpatine's laughter in his mind, not through the Force, but through the echo of manipulation.
You lied.
Vader lies broken in the collapsed shrine. His breathing is shallow, a rasping stutter from his respirator. Only then does he realize it's been tampered with, but he clings to the Force, not through control, but instinct, rage, desperation, will. He recalls what Maul taught him and summons his energy, steadying himself and keeping himself alive just as he reaches through the Force, reaching out to Mother Talzin as he taps on the runes across his body. Vader reaches across the veil, channeling the chaotic magics he witnessed on Dathomir. His voice cracks, his mouth bleeding, as he chants in an ancient Dathomiri tongue.
Sisters of Shadow, return to me.
A portal of green fire erupts from the altar. From within the swirling mist, Mother Talzin emerges first, floating, ghostly, but solidifying.
Foolish child. You were naive to trust Palpatine, but you've proven your strength.
Help me.
You will not fall today. Survive, and I shall come to your aid.
But Talzin isn't the only one who senses this breach in the Force. Palpatine smiles as he knows what this means. Vader has failed, but he must ensure that he is truly gone and hurries to find proof of his demise. At the same time, Talzin, Morgan, and Maul all leave his wall. They manage to arrive on the planet before Palpatine, with Talzin summoning her magics to save Vader. She stretched her arms wide, weaving ethereal threads of ichor meant to mend his cracked helmet, stabilize his spine, and restore his Force aura. His armor glows with strange green sigils, temporarily infused with magic.
You saved me.
You are more than Sith. More than Jedi. You are becoming a tool that can uproot the Empire.
But as they prepare to leave, a figure blocks their path at the entrance to the temple.
Witch, traitor, failure. You will all burn. How convenient for you all to be here now.
His hands rise. Pure Sith lightning explodes from him, scorching the earth. Maul blocks with his staff, barely standing as Talzin leaps from the side. Morgan raises her staff, and Vader readies his lightsaber. With a roar, the four warriors rush at the Emperor. Laughing, Palpatine unleashes a force scream that leaves even Maul staggering. But Vader rushes ahead, the ichor flowing through his body, strengthening him as he slashes his lightsaber down, cracking the ground where Palpatine was standing and kicking him back. The Emperor laughs and fires another burst of lightning, but Vader summons a shield and absorbs it. He dissipates it into mist and materializes behind him. However, Palpatine is faster and blocks it. Talzin and Morgan come from the sides, their staves spinning and glowing with magics. Palpatine intercepts these strikes and summons a shock wave that throws them back. Morgan stumbles and struggles to protect herself, while Maul leaps forward and helps strengthen Talzin's shield. He then rushes forward and slashes at him, his weapon flashing towards Palpatine as he jabs his staff, then reverses. But the Emperor is ready and pushes these blows aside, knocking them off course, and then stepping back as Maul, Talzin, and Vader all strike at once. Vader is the greatest threat, his armor glowing the same sickly green as he channels that ichor around him in a powerful burst of energy that sends Palpatine skidding back. He narrowly avoids Talzin's attack as she slashes at him, but he can't avoid Morgan's staff cracking across his side. Cursing, Palpatine unleashes everything. A wave of dark energy, a vortex of destruction flashes across the room, intending to rip Vader's soul from his body. Talzin screams from above as she's thrown aside. Morgan is knocked unconscious. Maul is bleeding on the floor. Vader, Anakin, steps through the storm. 1 foot, then another. His armor glows green. His saber blazes red. He strikes. A single blow, charged with dark magic, force power, and raw will, shatters Palpatine's defenses. The Emperor is blasted across the ruins, slamming into the far wall. His body crackles, robes burning. Palpatine is beaten, but not dead. Not yet. Vader reaches into the Force to dominate and control. All around him, Rakghouls hiss as they come rushing in, following Vader's command as he unleashes them upon Palpatine. The Sith Lord hisses and channels his powers to strike them down. While the first few fall, their numbers are overwhelming, and Palpatine finds himself surrounded and swarmed. His screams echo through the temple as the rest of them make their escape. Once they return to Imperial space, they begin laying the groundwork for their organization. With Vader as a public figure, they begin taking over the Empire, securing its fleet and military for themselves. The Dark Lord is Palpatine's right hand, and few question his right. Those who do meet a quick death. He is helped by Morgan and Maul, who use their connections across the galaxy to amass resources to secure their rule, while Talzin gathers allies from other Force users, fellow witches, and cults who worship the dark side. All of this lays the groundwork for a new Sith Empire under Vader. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.